Well, yo, yo, yo. Yo, I just wanted to say good morning to everybody out there. Hope y'all having a good one. Just wanted to make a quick video this morning. We've got some crazy news going on all over the United States right now. And when I say crazy, I mean crazy. Like crazy as in mentally ill. Crazy as meant colloquially as it's just a lot going on right now. Like almost too much to process. But we're gonna try to break it down piece by piece here today on the Black Mirror. Peace to the live chats. We're gonna start on Instagram. We're doing a little channel surfing. And I saw some interesting stuff on here today. I want to start with this Larry Marquez saga. Like I don't know. I'd seen recently Jazzy G talking about where she had made the statement that she had talked to Mr. Marquez recently about the world news situation. Well, world news, and she'd asked, she saw the South Carolina area code. So she figured that world news was a good dude, a good person. Just because, she used to live in South Carolina. She knows some people from there. She was like, okay, area code, South Carolina dude, he might be all right. Then she said all this backstabbing and all these different things started happening, the clout chasing, the this and the that. I get that and I understand that. Everybody does a little bit of clout chasing. I mean, that's what commentary is. You're commenting on stuff that you're passionate about, and in the hopes that other people are as passionate about it as you are, so that your voice can be heard, and you can exchange ideas. Uh, with that being said, we go forward to right now, where we've got Jesse G posting, and this was posted 10 hours ago. Larry Marquez liked that, as you can see. Jesse G posted this. I don't know if Larry Marquez liked that one. World News has posted something here on his channel about 11 hours ago. He's got shirts coming in the mail, World News shirts. And it seems to be okay. Nothing wrong with that. Jazzy G has posted some stuff about lurkers. And now here's the interesting one. We get down here to World News. And this was posted 11 hours ago. And he says, how the hell can you hate on the person that's trying to take down a cult leader? And we got that liked by Larry Marquez as well. And there was another one here. Let me just go straight to his profile here. There was liked this picture. I guess this is a picture of Nature Boy and some of the cult members here. These stupid motherfuckers belong to me. They belong to Nature Boy. I guess that's the picture he posted. Larry Marquez is liking that as well. Justice for Mama Dia, Tiffany Love, 2014. So we definitely got a type of situation here where, Mr. Marquez is definitely liking Jazzy stuff. He's not at odds with what Jazzy or World News is doing. He's liking both of the situations. Like whatever brings more attention to this, whatever brings more light to the fact that You know, his daughter is in this code and he wants to get her back. I think that's what he is doing. Now, this is an interesting one as well. Jazzy G posted this one. I guess they did this yesterday. World News won't smoke with Ashe Divine, part 4 of 6. You know, Ashe, I guess, was going in on World News. I don't know why there's these beef back and forth. I think that some of it may be even when I really think about it. You know, this is TV, this is entertainment. You know, some of it may be manufactured to a certain extent. Maybe, you know, backdoor deals are done where they like, hey, the views are gonna really pop if we go at each other. You know what I mean? Like, I got nothing to hide. You know, and they leak this information that gets, you know, leaked. But who knows? It may be a real bona fide. I do not like this person. Here we go with this is weird. Tariq Nasheed posting something on his Insta. I guess Coonan in HD. I guess that's Reggie Bush kissing Jerry Jones on the cheek. Somebody. Ezekiel Elliott, one of the running backs. Mm, just an interesting time on Insta right now. You got Jazzy posting stuff, you know, you got World posting stuff back and forth. Just a very interesting time on Instagram right now, very much so. Let's click over here to the YouTube screen. I want to bring y'all's attention to something else that I found interesting the other day when I was going through. I saw this and it really kind of made me look at Lamar Odom in a different way. These basketball players, you know, we think, oh, they play, they are sports, they entertain us. You know, maybe they actually have lives and they're human. You think about it in that way, but you don't think about it in that way. But seeing this, it kind of really broke my heart for him and this whole Khloe Kardashian situation. I don't know if he's just playing it up to sell his book, which could definitely be true. He does have a book on the way. Lamar has TV deals. He's just done a promotion with Fox Sports Net, a documentary. So he's got some things where he needs definitely promotion and clout right now. So is he still clout chasing Kardashian fame? Or is he sincere about this? I'm going to play it and you guys tell me. You be the judge. Grand Rise, Queen Miko.
Bluehost makes it easy to take your wildest dreams to new heights. With exclusive WordPress plugins and themes, so you can create a website without limits. Bluehost, transcend the template.
Now, you were instantly thrown into the spotlight. I mean, I knew you, Whoopi knew you from basketball, but you met Khloe Kardashian, right, in 2009. You get married without, after knowing each other for 1 month.
Yeah.
Because you're bigger than life.
Yeah, well,
figuratively.
when I looked at
also.
Khloe, I like seeing my mother in her eyes.
Really?
Yeah, and I think that's why I was able to marry
Really?
her. Yeah.
What did you see?
Interesting.
Just the shape of her eyes and everything, her soul.
Her soul.
Yeah.
So soulmates right away.
Right away.
You also said to one of our producers you were happy to become the first Black Kardashian.
Yeah. That's a fact. Yeah.
What did you mean by that?
I mean, it was the most important part of my adult life, besides having my children.
Really?
Yeah.
What was so important to you about it?
Just having everything. You know, maybe a little bit too much, and family.
And family.
Family, a strong
that's
family.
quite a family.
Yeah.
They really wrap their arms around you.
They're really strong. They're really strong. I don't think they get credit for that enough.
Really?
I mean, if you've been through what they've been through on a public stage and you're still as tight as they are,
Yeah.
it's way past the money with them.
And you write that in your book, that you became part of one of the strongest families.
Yeah.
They have billions of people watching their every move at all times. You were thrown into the intensity of that spotlight when you married Khloe. How did you handle that?
Well, for a little while I handled it well because it kept me on point. It kept me on my A game. But then as more popularity grew and the show grew, then like women just started to come out of nowhere. And I've never been ugly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, but it was kind of hard to choose who was who and why they were coming after me so
they
strongly.
wanted part of the shine.
Yeah.
So, so you cheated on Khloe. We know that already. We've already heard all this, and you were addicted to drugs, etc., which you hid from her.
Yeah, when when you a professional and you're an athlete and you're addicted to drugs, you become a professional liar, right? Because that's the one thing you don't want you don't want anyone to know.
You got to hide it in order to keep going.
Yeah, your deepest, darkest secrets.
But when she discovered it, she left you.
Yeah.
And you say
She should.
Yeah, you say that that was one of your biggest regrets, that you lost Chloe.
Yeah, I lost my angel.
Wow.
Yeah.
So,
He said he lost his angel.
especially since she had this connection to your mother. That must have been a
Yeah, that was
terrible
it's
break
like
for you.
asinine.
Yeah.
Like losing your mother again.
Do you keep in touch with her now?
I've spoken to her recently.
She's not amenable to any kind of relationship again, or is she?
Well, hopefully we can start over being friends.
Okay, so what do you guys think about that? Leave your comments below. I mean, I think it was him trying. I mean, he's been trying to get his life together for a while now. We've all seen Lamar Odom in the news. We've all know that he had the incident down in Texas at the legal brothel where he damn near OD'd on cocaine and other substances. We know that he was an alcoholic. We know that he used to smoke crack. We know his history. We know his past. And so does Chloe. So with that being said, what do you guys think about this situation? He's saying that he's spoken to her recently. That's his angel. And they were trying to start off being friends. Do you think that there will be a reuniting here? Who knows? Queen Miko said, "Does he have a child with T. Henson? Deep dark family, the Kardashians." Yes, they are. I believe they believe in their witchcraft too. Let's check that out. T. Henson and Lamar Odom. All right, so apparently they don't have a baby together, but according to Access, Bravo, and Us Weekly, he reminisces on a past double date with Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. Says he missed his chance with T. Henson. So apparently they had an amazing night. We can watch the video here if you guys would like to, if it'll pull up for me. And yeah, that's pretty interesting too. So Lamar Odom be getting some pretty women, man. Lamar Odom kept some pretty women. I tell you that. He wasn't even no superstar either. You know what I'm saying? That goes to show you, you know what I'm saying, just being a good person. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter what you've been through. It don't matter, what you're going through. Being a good person, living your life correctly, you know what I'm saying, you'll start seeing good things happen. It may seem like, man, all the good stuff happened to the bad people or the people who doing evil. Them spells they casting, yeah, they work, but there's a price to pay. You know what I'm saying? Long suffering and long suffering is the way to go. I'm not gonna speak on that too much, but I don't know. I guess we can't play the video, so I'll just read the article here. A night for the ages. Lamar gushed about a special double date with he and ex Taraji P. Henson. Once when then couple Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. All right, here's the video.
Yeah, that was important to me to experience black love from a black woman. Even though Chloe is Armenian, but I think the world considers her white. And I think just to get that love from a black woman and their perspective of life from her point of view was important for me at that point in time.
Definitely. And you said it was one of the strongest connections you had, perhaps because it was also filling a void that your mother had left when she had passed?
Yeah, it was authentic. Me and Taraji's connection, it was authentic. There wasn't no bull about it.
And I read in your book, too, that you and Taraji went on a double date with Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie.
Yeah. It was at an event. I forgot what the event was, but that was like my, you made it moment in L.A. Because Forrest Whitaker was sitting right next to us as well. That was amazing that night.
Was it surreal for you?
Yeah, and that night I got to see Prince perform at his house.
and Whitney Houston was there, right?
Yeah, the everyone in the crowd who was watching them perform was everyone that you should know by name or face.
So in a way, you were catapulted into this other celebrity. You had already been playing professional basketball, but now you're amongst all these A-list movie stars.
Well, that's what playing basketball for the Los Angeles Lakers is really about. That's what it.
Grand Rise, everyone. Three T's, Grand Rise. Appreciate it. Appreciate everybody being here. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and subscribe, like the video, so we could get this information out. I'm not on here talking about giving any educational lessons today. Just kind of shooting the morning breeze. Here we go. We're talking about this Lamar Odom situation right now. We kind of segued out of the situation where I think, matter of fact, let's just take one more look at that. Let's go back over to the Instagram and take a look at what we were talking about earlier, because I think this is kind of important. I think this is an important moment in the whole Nature Boy saga in general. It means to me that Larry Marquez is he's making a concerted effort to make sure that everyone knows his daughter is over there and that he wants her back over here. We were talking about the fact that Larry Marquez is a longtime Jazzy G supporter because of the fact that Jazzy G will really go for you, will really take it to you, and Nature Boy was one of those people that she really took it to the point where Nature Boy was forced to have a conversation with her to quiet down the fans. Why won't you debate Jazzy? Why won't he had to, or either look stupid. And they did have several debates, which I covered a while ago. And here now we have a situation where World News has popped on the scene. World News, it has a brash, very sometimes very professional, sometimes very unprofessional style. It depends on his mood that day, and that's with any broadcaster. At any day you can get a guy that's not as calm and collected as the one you're talking to right now. It just depends on the atmosphere, the mood, the day. I mean, and it's the same for TV hosts. You can look in some of these TV host eyes when you're watching TV and tell, yeah, not a good day for that guy. But some are very good actors, and that's what it kind of takes. It kind of takes a very displacement of yourself, out of mind, out of body experience, really, to where you can just talk and not put emotion into it, not put bias into it. Let's go here, like I said, to World News. He's making these shirts, right? 96 likes. Nobody hates that. Why not? Jazzy G is having issues with somebody on YouTube or Insta. A couple of likes. Why not? And we go here to this World News post from the other day. How you gonna hate on the person trying to take down a cult leader? Liked by Larry Marquez. And like I said, there's no reason for him not to like that. I mean, this is his daughter. This is the cult leader that's pretty much holding her emotionally, captive. And he wants her home, her and his granddaughter. So yeah, he's liking these posts. He's at these lives, I'm sure, at World News Live. I wouldn't be surprised if World News started doing interviews with Larry Marquez. If Larry Marquez and World News started doing shows together, I would not be surprised one bit. Reason being, I guess there's a connection there, being men, and then with him being like the foremost authority on it right now, since Uncle Blakk has kind of chilled back into more of a true YouTube kind of a YouTuber kind of a role. Everybody's kind of going into that though. Everybody has cut back off of Nature Boy and gone into a true YouTuber content driven type of a role, which is very heartening. The opposite of disheartening, I guess. I don't know the word for it. Because you really think about it, we can't keep stealing Nature Boy's content forever. You know what I mean? And that's what we were doing for a long time. We were just taking this content, and people didn't want to give him the views, so they would come to other channels to see Nature Boy. They weren't coming for us or commentary. Yeah, the commentary, but You could think of that on your own, just from watching the videos. You just didn't want to give him the satisfaction of giving him the views. And I get that. And then there were people like us who, thought that we were doing something so great, and we were trying to stop this cult when all we were doing was spreading this message. And even some of us getting indoctrinated with it. Very interesting concept. Been thinking a lot about it psychologically over the last several months. And why do we do the things that we do? Why do we chase these heights of success and fame and money? We'll have a series on that before too long. I'm getting a lot of different series together that I want to do. I want to do one on mental health. That will be probably one of the first ones I do. There will be one on the Southern abortion laws. And we'll touch a little bit on that at the end of this video. But not a lot, because like I said, I definitely want to do a series on it. And we'll also be doing the series on comparative religion, if you like that kind of thing. Because I'm very much a fan of comparative religion and philosophy and ethics and debate. So we will definitely be doing those types of things. But like I said, Jesse G's got all this stuff going on. Nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong. Look at Justina Valentine from whatever the name of that show is. Maud Starseed, love her post. Always love her post. Comedic Science, I love that. But basically, like I said, you have these posts that are liked by Jesse G, but they're also they're liked by Larry Marquez on both sides. And long story short, that shows that Larry Marquez is very invested in making sure his daughter and granddaughter come home, and I find that very, very sweet. All right, let's go back to YouTube. We just showed you the Lamar Odom saga that's going on right now. He's selling books. He's selling a documentary he's got on Fox. He's all over the place right now, making the media circuit, and he's doing a very good job of it. He's doing a very damn good job of it. I look forward to seeing the documentary. I look forward to hearing about the book, because I'm not going to read it, probably. I'm not really that interested. What the story can't be much different than many other athletes. The partying, the drugs, the sex, the marriage breakups, that kind of thing. But I think his story, especially the part where him basically begging on The View. If you have a chance to roll the video back and catch that later, catch that, man. He's basically begging Khloe Kardashian to get back with him on live TV. Very interesting. All right, let's go to the live chat. 3 T's. He said, I never cared for World. 3 T's also said, I don't believe Mr. Marquez will. He will use his discernment. Okay. She also says, I just found out about CN this year, and it's sick and sad. Carbonation. Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, I found out about it last year. Well, and I had seen like some of the stuff, but I never really paid attention to it. And then when I started watching some of it on YouTube, I was just like, oh, geez. And it was just very interesting. I started reporting on it on Facebook. Nobody really cared. Then I reported on YouTube, and it got like thousands of views. So I started doing that. Not even gonna lie to you. But I quickly got old. It quickly got old, and very the energies that it brought in. Like I'm a firm believer in making sure that the energies around you stay positive. But just like he says all the time, to be quite honest, I've always held that belief. He really articulates some of the beliefs that I have held for a while very well. So I didn't mind listening to a lot of what he said. But then he got into the very chauvinistic, hedonistic practices. I'm not very much a fan of those philosophies. I'm more of a stoic. I'm more of a existentialist. I do kind of dabble into the esotericism, but I'm not very much. I'm very much science driven. I'm very much fact, cause and effect driven. The scientific process is my Bible, I guess you could say. But what I also will say is that, man, I don't know. It's just a weird world when you start watching these videos, when you start covering this, and you become invested, when you start talking to the different people that are, when you go into Nature Boy's live and he knows who you are, he's aware of who you are, it becomes creepy. You know what I mean? So yeah, I had to leave that alone. I mean, I still talk about him, I still cover him, but I'm not gonna be just in depth about it. I'll hear what's going on, I'll see what's going on, and then I'll report like this. I'll give my true opinion without stealing his content to do it. Let's go back to the chat here. 3T Queen Miko says 3T's wish I knew what I know now. Nigga was calling me Aunt T fraud bastard. You know now. Master Fundy Fee, yeah, Fundy Fee is one of my favorites as well. I'm now into vibes and I stay away from the negative. I can't watch those carbonation videos. I can't look into their eyes. Yeah, that's the best thing to do is to stay on a positive wavelength. Like when he talks about wavelengths, when he talks about us being light, I mean, he's not wrong. I mean, we are this melanin in our skin is quite literally light plaque. It's light condensed and turned into other nutrients. It is literally feeding our body. I'm not going to go as far as to say as some of the aeritarians and say, oh, we don't need air, we don't need food, we just need sunlight and air. And I don't believe that. I believe you do need nutrients. I believe you do need. You should eat ITAL in my belief. I try my best to eat mostly vegetables, fruits, water, juice. I do slip up and eat some chicken and some fish every once in a while, but I try to stay away from red meats. I try to stay away from all pork and shellfish. I still have vices, that I definitely have to give up. But I try to live as mild as possible, and like I said, a mixture of these beliefs. That's another, making sure that my heart is lighter than that feather. When my heart is weight on those scales, I want it to be lighter than that feather. You know what I'm saying? Blending of these traditional beliefs with these other mythologies is not a bad thing, because when it all boils down to it, they're all pretty much the same thing. There's only one creator, one grand architect, one God, one Allah, one Vishnu, whatever you want to call him. There's only one of him. And we encompass him and he encompasses us. It's a concept in theism that's called pantheism, but I'm not a pantheist, so it's really hard to explain. We'll go over all of these when we go over our series on philosophy. I guess that may be it for the video today. I really was going to go into some of the abortion laws that are in effect in the South right now, and I was wanting to go over those because I thought that they were important, not only for women's rights but human rights in general. Once they start dictating rights, what's to stop them? What's to stop them? Like, quite literally, what's to stop them? It's a very, very, very scary concept. And I'll just play a little bit of, like I said, this is Chief Clarence Thomas, one of the longest standing Supreme Court justices, and also Ruth Bader Ginsburg, also another one of the longest standing Supreme Court justices. They were they held court several days ago, and they don't really speak to each other. They speak in summations. They speak in what they call legal writings. And when they do this, basically these writings that these justices, these opinions that these justices write down, can somewhat become law. It's very ambiguous, very vague. The Constitution does not say that they can do this, but the Supreme Court basically makes laws by writing their opinions. And they were doing this week, and this is like I said, some interesting back and forth between Clarence Thomas, a black man, one of the oldest Supreme Court justices and oldest standing, and also another one of the oldest standing, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Let's get this up, and we'll be right back with you after the video.
Hi, my name is May Barak.
And like I said, I'm not going to go into very much detail about the abortion stuff right now. I want it to be a whole series that I do. So here we are.
No part of it the government controls. For a woman, if you overturn Roe v. Wade, there'll be one part of the body they have no control over, which makes them less of a citizen.
Well, let me read you a little bit of what she had to say in her, her footnote as well. Directly addressing Justice Thomas, she said, "A woman who exercises her constitutionally protected right to terminate a pregnancy is not a, quote, mother." All right, Justice Clarence Thomas writing today that abortion is an act, quote, rife with the potential for eugenic manipulation. Let's bring in Fox News contributor Richard Fowler and the president of Live Action, Lila Rose, to discuss. Welcome to you both.
Good to see you, Shannon.
Okay, so I want to read a little bit more of this back and forth from the footnotes between Justice Thomas and Justice Ginsburg. Justice Thomas saying this: given the potential for abortion to become a tool of eugenic manipulation, the court will soon need to confront the constitutionality of laws like Indiana's. Richard, I read this thing. He was on pages and pages on the history of eugenics and how birth control and abortion were aimed at eradicating people who were viewed as unfit or should have never been born. I mean, it's clear how he feels about this issue, and if they take a case, as we think next term they will, it's going to end up putting a decision in June of 2020, right in the middle of a presidential election.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. And I think what we saw today was that there is some hesitation on this court to take up this Roe versus Wade case, and we'll have to see what happens. But I think what we have to affirm, and what we saw Ruth Bader Ginsburg did in those footnotes, is she reaffirmed a woman's constitutional right to have full control of her body and to equalize her level of citizenship, which I think is very, very important. Because beyond just giving somebody a right to have an abortion, what Roe versus Wade does is it codifies a woman being the same level of citizenship as a man, right? Because I have full control of my body. There's no part of my body that the government controls. For a woman, if you overturn Roe v. Wade, there'll be one part of the body they have no control over, which makes them less of a citizen.
Well, let me read you a little bit of what she had to say in her, her footnote as well. Directly addressing Justice Thomas, she said, "A woman who exercises her constitutionally protected right to terminate a pregnancy is not a, quote, mother." Lila, she was not happy about the use of that word.
Yes, and I think it goes to show just the utter blindness coming from abortion advocates here. The reality is that she is a mother and there is a human life there. And yes, we have bodily rights just like men, but men can't use their body to harm or inflict harm on somebody else's body. And women don't have that right either. I don't have the right to harm a body inside my body that's unique and individual, another human life. And look, I think Justice Clarence Thomas's comments are really powerful and important to pay attention to, because he's saying that abortion, the history of abortion here, the history of Planned Parenthood here has to do with eugenics. I mean, the fact that the #1 killer of blacks today is abortion. It is higher than the combined top 15 reasons that blacks die today in America, according to the CDC, and abortion beats out all of them. The black abortion rate is 3 to 5 times higher than it is among whites. This is the history of a long legacy of targeting blacks in the womb when they are the most vulnerable, and that's what Justice Thomas is concerned about. And to see the blindness from Justice Ginsburg, not even acknowledging this horrific reality and continuing to come up with this fake constitutional right, which was an unjust decision by the justices in Roe v. Wade, is really sad to see coming from a woman.
Herein lies the problem, I think. So there is a vulnerability that exists for African-American young people and African-American children, but that vulnerability exists when they're out the womb as well. Will you work with Democrats to ensure that these mothers have access to prenatal care? Will you work with educators to make sure that there's access to early childhood public education? This is the fight that we talk about each and every day. The people that voted for the heartbeat bill in Mississippi voted against expanding Medicaid for poor women and for poor mothers. They voted against expanding early childhood public education.
This raises an interesting question because after the bill passed in Alabama just a couple of weeks ago, that was really one of the toughest pro-life bills in the country. It was interesting that the next week there was a headline that said Alabama set records for the number of foster parents who were adopting children. But Lila, that's always going to be part of the conversation, is if you are pro-life, are you willing to take the next step when these children come and maybe they aren't wanted or don't have support?
And I would return the question to Richard. I mean, it sounds like, Richard, you agree that abortion is discriminating against, and it's disproportionately targeting
No, I
Black
think society
babies in the
discriminates
womb.
against
And so
African
if that's
Americans, not abortion, boo.
but abortion's a lethal tool of discrimination, as it is against
I
Blacks,
think
as
not
it is
having
against
access to
girls.
healthcare
Girls
is
are
discrimination.
disproportionately
I
targeted
think
for
not having
abortion in the
access
womb
to public
internationally.
education
I mean,
is discrimination.
let me ask you.
But let's address those. But why are we allowing the killing of these
we
children
can
in the
address
womb?
those,
Let's
but herein
fight
lies
to
the
care for them
problem.
afterwards.
But herein lies
Okay,
the
let me stop
problem.
you both.
You're in
Let me
support
stop you
of
both
abortion,
because
though,
nobody's going to
Richard.
get
My
anything.
understanding is you're in support of abortion.
Okay, but nobody's
No,
going to
no,
get.
no, no, no,
Wait,
no, hold on,
guys.
hold on,
No
hold
one
on.
is going to be able to hear
You
from
don't
either one of
support
you.
abortion.
So we got
You
to
don't
stop you
support
just a
killing
second. Let me ask you both to stop for a second. Do you think on this question of an abortion, which the Supreme Court did not take up today, is this Indiana law which bans abortions on the basis of race, of gender, or disability? Richard, do you have a problem with a prohibition on those three things?
Listen, I believe that it is between a woman and a doctor to make those decisions.
Okay,
But
so
let
even
me-
if race or gender or disability is okay for you.
I believe that it is between a woman and her doctor to make the determination on how they choose and how.
What determination?
Right, that's their decision and how they choose to do
kill.
that. But let's be very clear. Allow me to be very clear. What we've seen over and over and over again, all across this country, in places like Mississippi, in places like Alabama, in places like Georgia, while these lawmakers pass heartbeat bills, they still have high infant mortality rates, right? And they're doing nothing to solve that. They're not providing access to affordable health care. They're not providing access to early childhood. They're
All right,
cutting
let me stop you there so we can
programs
give a final word to
they're
Lila.
cutting
Let's bring
free
in
lunch,
Lila.
They're cutting free breakfast. We can go on and on with all the cuts to poor children.
I
So
find
miss
it.
me with
I
this
find it.
argument that I
Okay,
don't
let's
care
let me
about
get.
kids.
I find
let
it.
Lila get a
I
final
find
word
it
here.
absolutely stunning to hear from people like Senator Kamala Harris and others.
I find it absolutely stunning to hear that you should have anything to say whatsoever about Black people. Like the fact that you could sit there with a straight face and talk to this Black man. Oh, I guess he's Black. He may be Middle Eastern or Indian. I'm not sure. Or Indian, Native American. Who knows? But I find it fascinating. They can sit there right in a Black person's face and tell them, what's good for them, what's right for them. As a woman who's sitting here basically having her rights taken away and argue for it. God forbid they're ever put in one of those situations where they're raped or, molested to the point where there's an insemination and be put in that situation. I couldn't imagine. I've heard about it. I've had friends that it's happened to. I couldn't imagine not having that option for them. I couldn't imagine them at this point in their life without not having that option. It's such a slippery slope because I'm of the belief that life begins at conception. I'm of that belief. But I'm also of the belief that a woman's body is fully autonomous. She is a woman and her body are fully autonomous. Should I say? As same for a man as it should be. I can't physically accost you without there being some repercussions because that's your body, that's your temple. I can't come and desecrate it without there being some kind of atonement. It's interesting that people want to pass these little small laws just to probe and see what kind of laws can be passed. Because in Alabama, where I am, it's strictly political. The laws that they passed here were strictly political. They passed laws that they knew that the Supreme Court would not approve because they knew the conversation then had to be had. And just not long ago, the Supreme Court, probably in these same rulings, ruled Alabama's law unconstitutional. So now it does have to be taken up with the Supreme Court. There will be hearings. They did what they wanted to do. It's strictly political. It's all a game. And it's a game being played at our expense on our dollar. right over our heads. Very interesting, to say the least. Let's go back to the live chat. Conspiracy from the Saltines. Yeah, I will be doing this series. It won't be today. I've already gone over my time for today. I'm going to cut this one short just a minute ago. Just a minute. They're dying and killing the most, but they open their mouths and say black on black, this and that. That's very true. Black dude, they have to save their race. Yeah, absolutely. So exactly. So he arguing in vain. Dude, don't know his name. Black women utilize that. When black women utilize that. Well, I appreciate y'all, man. I thank y'all for being here. Great stream this morning. Great topics. I hope y'all learned something, got something out of it. Y'all show bright my day. Make sure to tune in next time, man. We all got that Black Mirror in our hand.